Drink beer. Think beer. You're listening to Brew Bloods.
Beauty is in the eye of the beer holder. That from one-time Texas gubernatorial candidate, Kinky Friedman.
That's some funny stuff there.
Welcome to episode 87 of Brew Bloods. My name is Mark, professor of stuff. I'm joined by he's the grain to my liquor. He's the cherub of my life who shot me through the heart way back in 7th grade. That was nigh upon, 1992? Way back in the 20th century. It is Professor of Things, Dustin. Dirty Dustin.
And I did cover you in chocolate as well, so...
Oh, of course, that's how we met. We were hanging out by the backstop in the field, and you decided to pour a giant vat of hot chocolate on me.
I was going to say, it would have been nice if it wasn't steaming hot.
Yeah.
And permanently scalded you.
You ensconced me in hot chocolate, and my skin sloughed off. And that's why I'm like Inside Out boy now.
That's true.
And I'm just basically a giant giant fat muscle glob with eyes.
Well, that's a good thing that you're attached to a chair now as well, because you have melted skin on, and
right.
you have to be constantly covered in chocolate over and over again. Pretty much to live.
None of the skin grafts worked.
That's harder to do when you're walking around town. If you're just sitting in a chair, you can just have constant chocolate pouring on you. And it's a lot simpler.
I'm basically a human chocolate fountain, and I had a tube inserted through my anus, up through my mouth, and it just constantly spews chocolate. Now, while I'm talking to you, I'm spewing chocolate over my mic, my monitors. It's like living in Hershey, Pennsylvania, which, as we all know, is the chocolate capital of the world, and is also a town built from chocolate that was spewed through tubes, put up people's anuses, and spewed through their mouths, becoming human chocolate fountains.
It's kind of just pouring all over them, like kind of one of those rainfall shower heads. It's kind of one of those things. It's just dripping chocolate all over them.
It's kind of like if Trump were to employ, rather than golden showers, which he did in Russia, as he is now in the White House, and he puts on these state dinners, he basically has those same prostitutes come in, and rather than spew urination everywhere, urine, he reverses the setup and pours chocolate in them, and they spew chocolate. They kind of do a reverse 2 girls, 1 cup, I guess, as it were.
While watching Finding Dory, apparently.
Right, and while Finding Dory, yes. While putting a young Baron von Trump, all the Dory films, all the Finding films, I guess. Finding Nemo, Finding Dory, Finding Benji.
I'm not exactly sure what that sentence was, but we'll go with it.
It's a lot of chocolate fountaining.
Okay.
Chocolate showers everywhere.
Right.
So, welcome to the show. We are back in studio once again. First time in a while, it seems like.
First time in a long time.
First time, long time.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It is weird. We're joined by snoring dogs, napping wives downstairs, and we're here to celebrate Valentine's Day, allegedly, the manufactured holiday that was named after St. Valentine.
Hence the chocolate discussion at the beginning.
Exactly. We
don't just throw chocolate out there for no reason.
You say that, but chocolate is a frequent topic in our lives. If there's nothing else I hear from you on a recurring basis, it's chocolate this, chocolate that, chocolate showers. It's just a constant milk chocolate confection party from you.
We really have a weird love-hate relationship with chocolate because we hate it, but we talk about it all the time and consume it.
But it is fun to play with.
And it's like, have another chocolate stout, bitch. And we're like, damn it. I'm tired of chocolate stouts.
You're just constantly throwing chocolate stouts in people's faces.
And you have to say bitch at the end of it just to punctuate it.
Every sentence we issue requires the the statement ender of bitch.
Exactly. Pretty much.
So, Valentine's Day. One of the manufactured holidays that is very popular in this country.
Yeah, I would say it's probably the biggest manufactured holiday.
Do you celebrate Valentine's Day?
In private ceremony. But not with anyone.
in quiet reflection and worship to Jesus Christ, our Savior, of course.
I've been married for, a long time, since I was 20, but I celebrate privately.
So basically you don't do anything.
Exactly, yes. I think today, I guess, is called Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
My wife and I have only been together for nigh upon 5 years, I guess, and since dating, and been married for 3, and we don't even really celebrate Valentine's Day. I think the first year... we celebrated Valentine's Day,
sure.
But I was told that first year that she works in the construction industry, and she erects like steel girders and she carries them on her back.
Of course,
she's a big, muscular, beefy type.
She digs like an animal, just digs a hole and then sticks the steel beam in there.
She's a
she
ferret.
Just burrows it.
She's a steel-working ferret. But no, I was told I had better not send any flowers to the office because she would get made fun of by all the construction worker types. So
Look at you over there with your love.
What a fool!
Bada bing.
Who are you, loved? What are you? You feel like you've got feelings for another human?
You got loved ones?
You feel a sense of love in your
that you
life?
share love with?
What a fucking
What are you,
idiot!
some kind of sissy?
Yeah, I was told she would get, jovially harassed at the office if I did that.
yeah.
So I've never expressed my love. And one of the traditions we carry out is on the day of Valentine's, we refuse to say we love each other. That is the one day we slap each other in the face when we wake up. Like, I slap her awake, she slaps me to sleep, and we refuse to express any love on that day.
He just yells, "I hate you!"
That's right.
At the top of his lungs, and it runs out.
That's how we start our day. It's a very fun breakfast time.
It sounds great.
I slap her awake as she slaps me to sleep.
That sounds wonderful.
That's how we celebrate.
It happens just back to back.
Yeah.
You're one slapped awake, the other one's knocked out right immediately.
Exactly. Followed by at the end of the night.
Now, I have been asked to take advantage of the chocolate sales that follow on February 15th. I have done that before.
Oh, just to acquire your Scrooge McDuck vault of chocolates?
Exactly.
So that your wife might swim through
So many high-end chocolates.
So many luxurious Russell Stovas.
It's incredible, okay?
I'm covering my bodies in Russell Stovas. I don't know why we always talk like somebody from Schenectady or Long Island.
Actually, the accents kind of morph all around. They don't stay in one location. It's whatever we can get out at that time.
Whatever we're feeling. Sometimes we're that's not even Jewish. That's like some kind of weird Italian.
It's like a constipated Italian.
He's constipated by the chocolate.
He's edging a bit, I think.
He's edging. That's an entirely different conversation, is edging.
Well, turtle heading, how's that?
Okay, turtle heading. Well, that's another conversation on top of that. Maybe he's doing a two girls, one cup.
But again, we're not here to talk about edging or turtle heading or any of that
Wisconsin chocolate or sloughing off skin from hot chocolate. No, we're here to talk beer.
We are influenced by the Valentine's holiday, though, based on the beer that we did pick this time.
We are, and it's a brewery we've never discussed before.
It's a brewery I honestly don't really remember if I've ever had anything from.
I can tell you I've not, because up until now, it has been the brewery that we dare not speak their name. For no reason at all. Yeah. Just because we've never talked about them.
We haven't thought about them. That's
because we've never really talked about them. But
yeah, it's not a big secret thing. We just, it hasn't come up before.
Yeah, many have clamored for it. We've gotten so many emails, so many luxurious, tremendous, disastrous emails.
It's not just us telling you this.
So many disastrous posts. I've heard from many. I mean, I'm waving my little tiny duck arms when I say this. Yeah. Many people have told us, many generals, many people in the intelligence community, which, by the way, I just want to say the impertinence ratings were terrible, and you can't blame it on me. You have to blame it on Schwarzenegger and Trump. But many people have told me that we should talk about AleSmith Brewing Company out of San Diego, Waving Arms, California.
Sponsored by Barbacoa Apparel. Barbacoa Apparel is a San Antonio-based independent clothing line that caters to Texans and Texans at heart. To find out more about Barbacoa Apparel or to buy your favorite taco tea, go to barbacoaapparel.com.
Today we're talking about AleSmith Brewing Company out of San Diego, California, which may, before we know it, not be a part of these United States if they have it their way.
They're going to secede?
Well, that's been recent talk. I've been hearing on all the news wires.
Specifically?
I've been putting all my ears to all the news wires, and not San Diego, but California. Apparently, there was a bill put forth that they want to change the Californian Constitution, I think, to remove the part that they are part of the United States, or something to the fact that will, they think, in the future, if they want to, allow them to secede. Though, of course, the federal government would very quickly prohibit that through armed force.
I was going to say, we know how well that works around living in this state.
That's the thought. That's the first thing they're going to put forward, is removing some key part of the California Constitution that will, in theory, allow them to secede because they are very, very anti-Comrade Trump.
I get that, but still think that's a bad idea.
I agree. Sorry if you hear my animal farm down below. They're getting kind of crazy.
Down below?
Yeah, down below. They're down in the nethers of the Brewblood studio.
So, AleSmith.
Knock it off!
So, AleSmith. If people don't know, San Diego...
I don't know. Do you know?
California in general, they tend to have kind of a lot of breweries.
Yeah.
And kind of a lot of high-rated breweries.
And from such a tiny state.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's just so tiny. I can't believe. So many.
They're like the size of Vermont, and yet they have so many luxurious great breweries.
Yeah, pretty much. But going and looking at actually all the beers that they do sell there, they've been around since the 90s, which a lot of these big California breweries that are still successful have been.
California, no doubt about it.
It seems like late 80s, early 90s, it was kind of a boom, and obviously there's been more since then. But
boom.
You have like the well-established ones from that time, but man, if you go through their top beers, the top 6 or 7 of them are all rated 100 across every type. We're talking barley wine, Scotch ale, IPA, Imperial Stout, Imperial IPA. They're all rated 100.
And how have we not had their beer?
That's what I'm saying.
I will say, though, to their non-credit, to their I don't want to say discredit, but it's not like you see them around on tap around here.
On type? Yeah.
It's not like you say blah, 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 blah. You don't see them on tap around here at all.
No, you really don't. They're not. Maybe they don't care because they have this high-rated beer that probably sells pretty well.
True. But you would think, I mean, we get so many great beers around here from so many great breweries around the world.
That's true.
You would think we would have seen at least one keg, and I cannot recall in my really short-term memory that only lasts about 6 seconds. I don't recall ever seeing an AleSmith keg.
I don't think I've ever seen it, actually.
And so, I mean, as we're ooting a boot drinking, I mean, we're obviously going to sometimes reach for foreign beers, but... Yeah, it's and so I also haven't reached for them on the shelf either because I don't know. It's just other things have taken priority.
Well, it's harder to just reach for something random on the shelf that you've never had and you don't really know about. I mean, you could sit there and take the time to research, but who's going to do that?
I mean, research is for idiots. Why would we want to learn anything in this modern post-age Trump world?
Well, but I mean, there's a billion beers that you know of, and breweries that you know of,
so and you tend to repeat and go kind of reach for the same guys.
Yeah, exactly. So, but after seeing this, it makes me think, may need to pick up a couple of these if I see them.
Yeah.
Especially a double red IPA rated 100 and 99 in style. I mean, they also knock it out of the park in style. They're 100 or 99 in almost every way except for the Belgian Strong Ale, which is fine with me. I don't like Belgian Strong Ale anyway. So
they knock the bottom out of it.
They really do. I mean, that's pretty amazing. I don't think we've had one that's rated this high across the board before. We've had breweries that have a couple that are rated 100, but... Man, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty good little portfolio.
Yeah, they're shooting a very high value load.
Yeah, and they're another one of those breweries apparently that loves the high ABV beers as well.
Yeah,
I mean most of them are 8.5, 7.5, 8.5 to all the way up to 12. Their Speedway Stout is 12%, and most of these are well established with a couple thousand reviews in some cases, at least over 1,000 on Rate Beer. So. They've been around since the early aughts, or since 2000, so they're well established, and they don't seem to care as much about branching out and doing several different ones, kind of like Buffalo Bayou a few weeks ago when they were talking about how they want to have like 500 different beers or something over the course of their time. I say get a nice portfolio of really solid beers and roll with that.
Rather than just blow your wad.
I think so. I think you have so many misses that way.
Yeah.
But, I mean, whatever. It's your own brew house. You do what you want.
Yeah, so we're talking about the My Bloody Valentine ABV of 6.66%.
I see what they did there.
I was wondering about this before because this was apparently a variation of their Evil Dead Red Ale, which is their Halloween beer. And I wonder if it was, are they fudging the numbers to get to 666? Did they intentionally shoot for 666 and manage to get it spotted? They managed to, shoot their wad at that target spot on.
I think there may be some greasy palms here.
Maybe there's a little, Rosie Palmer action going on there.
Sure.
They lubed up their ABV just a little bit.
Lubed up their rep to put 6.66 on there.
Or maybe they're just geniuses. I mean, they have been brewing since 95, so.
That is true. Yeah, their actual brewer, the owner is their head brewer as well, so... and has that much experience. I don't know. It's pretty interesting that I feel like a lot of times when someone takes over a brewery, they like the product and they just want to keep going with it, and then they get somebody that's a head brewer. Right. But this guy was actually way into the brewing process as well, which will be explained when we describe the brewery.
Which, as we know, as we talked about brewery acquisitions before, when one brewery acquires another, they usually hire former SNL alum, former comedian Jim Brewer to be the head brewer.
Well, of course, that makes sense.
He's the transitional brewer.
He should be the brewer at the brewery.
That's
so
true.
You have the owner named Brewery.
At the brewery, the brewery.
And he's the brewer at the brewery.
I think we made this lame joke before when we talked about the brewery.
Did we?
I think so.
No. We'll have to consult the best of comedy hits.
Yeah. So the description for the My Bloody Valentine. Don't spend this single awareness day alone. Grab a beer. This red-blooded cousin of the Evil Dead Red Ale, our Halloween brew, is a beautiful crimson color, notes of caramel toast and bittersweet chocolate, balanced intense bouquet of floral hop aromas that we know you'll fall in love with. The finish leaves a pleasant, full-bodied sweetness on the palate that won't spread any angry rumors about you to all your friends like that one time when I was, Happy Valentine's Day.
Heyo.
I prefer to think of it less as Single Awareness Day than as I prefer to celebrate Palentine's Day, as Parks and Rec brought up or created.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds more pleasant.
I mean, we're a couple of pals. We celebrate Palentine's Day and Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we make up Palentine's Days too. Just when we want to. But,
yeah.
This one has an IBU of 24. I don't know if that was mentioned. So it shouldn't be too bitter. And the ratings. Beer Advocate gives it an 89. Rate Beer gives it a 98 and 100 in style. The style will come into question since it is an amber ale.
Which I'm surprised they're calling it an amber ale because in my mind, there's a difference between an amber and a red. But they're calling it an amber officially, although in their description they call it a red. So I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, I'm a little confused on that too. Untapped, 3.77 out of 5. So,
which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, it's a little
how
lower.
low it is on rate. And although you do tend to get more ratings on Untapped than you do anywhere else.
That is true.
Because Rate Beer and Beer Advocate tend to be more for the beer nerds.
Oh, definitely. No doubt about it. The Untapped is more for the beer nerd and the bro.
Right.
So,
all right, well, let's find out about the history of AleSmith Brewing Company.
AleSmith Brewing was founded in San Diego in 1995 by Skip Virgilio and Ted Newcomb. Skip was AleSmith's original brewmaster. In July 2002, Pete Zine purchased the brewery and became the new brewmaster as well. Zine is the only BJCP Grandmaster Level 1 beer judge in all of San Diego County. The original brewery is located in San Diego's Miramar area. In 2015, celebrating its 20th year of production, the company added a larger brewery and tasting room, also located in the Miramar area. At 25,000 square feet, the tasting room is billed as the largest beer tasting room in San Diego County. Brewing operations at the new facility will eventually expand the company's brewing capacity tenfold. It features a custom Steinecker 80 BBL brew system capable of pumping out 100,000 barrels of beer per year. AleSmith has been rated on the RateBeer.com website as the #1 top brewer in the world in 2006 and yet again in 2013. In 2008, AleSmith was awarded Small Brewing Company and Small Brewing Company Brewer of the Year at the Great American Beer Festival. AleSmith's beers are inspired by the brewing styles of Great Britain and Belgium. Some AleSmith beers, such as their cream ale and robust porter beer, are only offered on draft or in kegs at the brewery. The majority, however, are available in 22-ounce or 750-milliliter bottles.
So the BJCP for an American Amber Ale. They called it that, so that's what we're going with. Overall impression is it should be an amber, hoppy, moderate strength American craft beer. Generic. With a caramel, California, malty flavor. Camaro, yeah. The balance can vary quite a bit, with some versions being fairly malty and others being aggressively hoppy, because there's a wide range there.
Progressive.
Hoppy and bitter versions should not have clashing flavors with the caramel malt profile. Commercial examples include the Deschutes Cinder Cone Red, Never Had It, Full Sail Amber, Kona Lavaman Red Ale, North Coast's Ruderick's Red Seal Ale, Rogue American Amber Ale, and Trogue's Hopback Amber Ale.
I bet the Rogue one sucks. Booyah to Rogue.
Maybe if you don't go after the Voodoo series, which we should revisit at some point.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll take that on at some point.
When I feel like vomiting, we can revisit that.
Look, after Valentine's Day, you've done a bunch of binging of chocolates from each other's butts. Now you need to purge.
I didn't say I never wanted to feel like that. I just said when I feel like that. That's when we should do it. All
right, so appearance for the My Bloody Valentine beer.
Valentine.
I will say, holding it up to the light, the scant light that is in this studio here.
Although you have added an extra bulb, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I know we've got 2 bulbs now, 2 out of 4. It does bear a striking resemblance more to an amber than a red. So I will give them points for saying it is actually an amber.
Yeah, it's got a nice caramel amber look to it. I mean, it's clear in spots. It's kind of dark in spots. I mean, it's not crystal clear. It doesn't look filtered or anything, but it definitely does retain that amber look.
Yeah, it appears to be unfiltered just from the glass I'm holding here. Now, a ton of lacing also. A little bit of a lacy garter on the top of this glass. I'm drinking out of a Guinness glass to preserve the head because, who doesn't enjoy some head on Valentine's Day?
It is a lot of lacing, actually.
A lot of lacing.
And a pretty good-sized head that's just sticking there. It's not even going down.
It's very, very lacy. If you're into the lingerie, this is your beer.
That's probably a couple inch head on there, which is kind of odd for most beers that we do. Most of them dissipate.
That's all I'm sporting is 2 inches worth of head there.
Well, a couple of centimeters, excuse me.
Centimeters, sorry. Yeah. Well, it's all I'm sporting still.
Hey, whatever.
Yeah, so the and it does fall in with appearance there, which should be amber to coppery brown in color. So it's spot on.
Moderately large, off-white head with good retention. It's doing that too.
Yeah, it is retaining well. I will say that. Just beneath the lacy garter is like about a centimeter's worth of head there.
They say generally quite clear. This one doesn't fall into that, but everything else, it's pretty much.
That whole thing is about, do you choose to filter your beers or not?
Right.
It doesn't matter to me as long as it's good beer.
No, I don't care.
So
aroma,
low to moderate hop aroma with characteristics typical of American or New World hop varieties.
Are we still in the New World?
A whole new world.
I feel like we're well established at this point.
Fantastic point of view.
I feel like we're really established at this point.
Where's the old world? Is that still the...
Are we just one world now?
No, yeah, if you believe American Airlines, yeah, one world, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're living this whole outside of the U.S. bullcrap, sure, one world.
You don't want to boot in your ass.
It's America first, sir.
I forgot. We're living in boot in your ass times. But
that's right. It's the American way.
New World sounds kind of archaic now.
It does sound very...
Like that was like a modern term in the 1400s.
Those hop varieties should be citrusy, floral, piney, resinous, spicy, tropical fruity, stone fruity, berry, and or melon. And I will say...
resinous, I would say.
I would say resinous, but I do smell a lot of fruity notes there from those hops. Almost like a strawberry. As much as we hate fruit, I can't deny that strawberries have a presence in this beer. And I might have to take them out back and take my salt off and pound them in the head with it.
Well, that's probably already happened. That's why they're in the beer.
Oh, sure.
But, yeah, so it does have a little bit of that. I get General Berry. I know it has kind of the generic berry list.
General Berry, the commander of the Fruit of the Looms Armed Forces.
Exactly. Yeah, he leads the squadron, But, yeah, there's definitely some fruit in there. I don't know what a stone fruit is, but I would say some tropical fruit and some maybe a little citrus, but definitely resinous for sure.
Yeah, there's a little bit of malt in there, not overpowering, but I would say fruit dominates. To me, General Berry dominates the nasal palate there.
It's kind of funny. They say moderately low to moderately high, so any maltiness is really fine.
So really, if you have any sort of nasal profile, you're in the category.
Yep, exactly.
Now, mouthfeel should be medium to medium full body, medium to medium high carbonation, smooth finish without astringency, and the flavor should be moderate to high hop flavor with characteristics typical of American or New World hop flavor varieties. Again, citrusy, piney, resiny, spicy tropical fruit, and stone fruit, berry, and or melons. So if you enjoy a couple of nice melons, you might enjoy this beer.
Caramel sweetness and hop flavor bitterness can linger somewhat in the medium, into the medium to full finish. That'll be interesting. I expect caramely. I'll put it that way. And I expect it to be good. With all the other AleSmith beers ratings, I expect this to be good. And amber ales tend to be some of the most popular beers, actually, which has always been odd to me.
And they tend to be the worst.
Yeah, that's why I don't get why. Like I remember, talking to founders and talking about how they started out with an amber ale and that was their big hit.
Yeah,
it's just kind of strange to me.
Well, it's like Dos Equis Amber tends to be pretty popular. They're just kind of generally a generic beer.
But I will say, out of the two popular styles, I will pick an amber ale over a lager anytime.
Oh, well, who wouldn't?
Some people like lagers.
Oh yeah, a bunch of lagery Larrys out there, of course. A bunch of Euros. Pfft.
Yeah. They can't be American if they like lager.
Euros. No, you can't. You're not allowed to America if you like a lager. No, right. This is ale, American ales, sir.
Exactly.
Ale land.
Now,
ale to the chief, as it were.
I will say this does have some hop forward flavor when it first hits the tongue,
but it's a lot more malty than I would expect.
Yeah, that kind of fades, and then you get some of the caramel / malty flavor after the fact.
It is. It's very malt forward, and body wise, not. I would say kind of Rubenesque. She's a full figure gal. She's not light, as it's most ambers I've encountered in my lifetime, my very short time on this earth that nobody's ever enjoyed. I would say that, generally ambers tend to be very thin, very watery, much like many of our mass-produced beers out there.
I would say this is more the medium to full, the medium full body.
That's what I'm saying. She's Rubenesque.
Yeah, oh yeah,
I agree. She'd be very appreciated in Greco-Roman times for her bounties. She's sort of Dionysus-esque.
Now,
she's a horn of plenty.
They actually specify in here stronger and more bitter versions are now split into the red IPA style. I don't think it quite goes that far, but it is hoppier than like a Dos Equis Amber.
Well, yeah. I mean, but that's not hard to do.
I know, but
you add a hop and you'll get something stronger than a Dos Equis.
I just feel like a Dos Equis Amber is like a nice baseline amber ale that's out there that everybody knows, and I would say if I think amber ale, I kind of think that kind of amber ale. So red ales I like. I mean, we've talked about Velvet Hammer a billion times.
Just a billion and one, I think. Much to the chagrin of all of our listeners.
Which, I think that falls more into the red IPA style, which I like that style. And I feel like this one's teetering closer to that than it is the Dos Equis Amber style.
Yes, it is. And I guess that's somewhat some of the confusion, right? I mean, it looks like an amber, but it definitely falls more in line with our favorite beer, the Velvet Hammer from Pedicolis. It's just not as hop forward as that beer is,
right.
and way more malty.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's the same as that one, but it's closer to that one than it is a generic mass-produced amber ale. For
True.
Sure.
It's like Amber got, it's like her hot cousin. It's Amber's hot cousin. It's there's Amber and then there's Amber 2. Amber 2 is way hotter. It's Amber 2.0.
Yeah, and it's actually surprisingly tasty to me. It actually has some really good wide variety of notes to it. It's not plain. I feel like a lot of amber ales are plain. I appreciate the hop forwardness fading into the maltiness, fading into the caramel. A little bit of citrus in there. It's really varied. It's got a wide variety of stuff in it.
It is. It lingers, but not in an unpleasant way, which is good. Like
I guess for AleSmith, based on their ratings, we shouldn't be surprised that they actually did it right.
No. So, ratings.
So as we've discussed, most amber ales are kind of plain. They're kind of watery. They're kind of, at least mass-produced, readily available amber ales. I don't want to say that as a whole, but ones that you're exposed to mostly. Not that impressive, not that great. This one has good IPA qualities about it, but it's balanced out with some caramel and malty flavor. So don't think of it as like a full IPA if you're drinking this, but it does have some of that hop forwardness that then is balanced out by the malty caramel, I don't know if you want to say aftertaste, but that's what comes in after the initial kind of hoppy flavor that hits your tongue first.
Kind of reminds me of an East Coast IPA in that respect.
Yeah, it is a little bit like that. That's true. I feel like red ales and amber ales kind of suffer from the same description issues that maybe a porter and stout do, that they kind of tend to bleed over in category. Like, what's really a red ale versus an amber? What's really a stout versus a porter? Some people call the same exact thing one or the other. So, I don't know. Maybe amber ales are a much broader category than I would originally have classified them in, and they bleed into the red ale category, which I do tend to like. The mouthfeel is full. It's medium to full. It does linger, but I would say in a good way, not in a bad way. A lot of stuff can hang around and kind of give you like a nasty, you want a breath mint type aftertaste.
Much as people named Amber want to do.
Exactly. If you touch an amber, that happens too.
Right.
But this one doesn't really do that, and it also doesn't dry you out too badly either. So there's a little bit of dryness, but not much. So I don't have too many complaints there. I would recommend that if someone likes the mass-produced ambers, like a Dos Equis Amber, they probably won't like this one. It doesn't fall in that same category. This is a much more robust beer, and for that I'm thankful for. And I would say this is probably the first amber ale that I've actually enjoyed and would recommend. So this amber ale, I give it a 4.25 out of 5.
So I just wrote this poem. Let me issue it as such. My Bloody Valentine, sweet Bloody Valentine, you make me smile with my heart. Your looks aren't laughable. You're very photographable. You're not my favorite work of art, but you're damn good for an amber. And that includes people named Amber as well.
That means a lot, really.
It does. This is, like you said, ambers, they're generally terrible beers. They're just a notch above lagers in most categories, just when it comes to your mass-produced beers. So I give AleSmith a lot of credit from taking a very terrible, generally terrible, disastrous, the worst, not luxurious beer category, and turning it into something good. I'm not saying this is a beer that I would reach for.
Something good.
I would reach for all the time, but if she were sitting in a cooler of ice, I wouldn't turn her down. If she were a last call casualty, I would still drink her. It's a really, really good representation of what an amber ale should be, and everybody should pay attention to this beer just because of that. I feel like
if these were mass produced, you would go for it more.
Absolutely, of course. I'm saying if there were a host of Budweisers, Coors, and PBRs at a barbecue in somebody's generic backyard in Plano, and there were this sitting in the cooler, I would drink this beer, of course. It's just not my favorite style, just because, to me, I tend to appreciate, your darker beers, your hoppier ales, things like that. But it's a really, really good beer for what it is, and it is a paragon of what an amber ale should be. I could stand just slight negatives on this. Slight, just very light negatives. Just a touch of negatives.
Just an angel's hair worth of...
I'm not going to punch you in the face. Just going to flick you in the nose a little bit. I'm going to stub your toe. I would like a little bit more fruity flavor because I feel like on the nose, we get a lot of fruit on the nose that isn't necessarily represented in the beer itself. It's there, but it's an angel's fart of fruit taste on there. So I would like a little more, just for me, fruit representation on that. I think the hop and the malt balance is pretty good. Maybe just a angel's fart less of malt and a little more hops, but that's just me. So all that aside, it's for what it is, an amber ale, and it's a good beer, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying this within the category of an amber ale because I'm very, very, very impressed. I have to give this nothing less than a 4.5 out of 5.
Wow.
Giving us a final score of 4.375.
Well, that was another beer, Mark, wasn't it?
It was another beer. Happy Palantines, happy Galentines, happy Valentines, happy Single Awareness Day. Whatever your chosen holiday is, happy to you. Happy. I
look forward to covering you in chocolate yet again.
I just barely got one toe covered in regrown skin. I don't need you to kill me or bring me to the brink of death yet again.
That's the one I will douse in the hot chocolate first.
Just the one toe.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for all your support. We would appreciate it. Thanks to everybody who has listened to the show.
We do appreciate it. Not that we would.
And you know what? I send out a Valentine from us to you, to all of you out there who have sent us beer, who have traded us beer, who listen to the show, who subscribe to the show, because subscribing is the most important point of this podcast. It's not even us talking, just subscribe to the show.
Yeah, exactly.
If you subscribe, you fulfilled your life. But on top of that, we provide you the bonus of us rambling on for about an hour. If you would do us a favor, leave us a review on iTunes. We would appreciate it. And as we just said, subscribe to the show. It costs you nothing, no shekels out of your wallets, unless you want to send us shekels.
Yeah, you can.
You can. Just find all the links at brewbloods.net. Any platform you're on, we have a link for you to subscribe to the show for free. Check us out on the social networks, Tumblr, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and Reddit, reddit.com/r/brewbloods. And you can email us at brewbloodsshow@gmail.com, brewbloodsshow@gmail.com.
If someone wants to be an angel investor or just give us a big donation, just PayPal us at Brewbloods.
Absolutely. Call us 469-573-BEER. That's 469-573-2337. We'll catch you guys next week for episode 88 of Brewbloods. This is Valentine's from us to you. Probst.
Probst.